Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. In tonight's performance, the role of the villain will be played by Mario's disappointed father. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, how's it going?
It's going amazing. Super excited for tonight's episode because we have an amazing guest.
We have an amazing guest. We are joined by former X-Play producer and writer for Jesse Cox, Emily Rose Jacobson is here.
Wow!
Wow!
It's been so long.
Yes, we were looking back to see when was the last time we had Emily on the show, and it was like 2019.
Yeah.
I was about to guess 18. Yeah.
I think it was because we were recalling that we had you scheduled, and then I got sick. And we recorded like a 3-minute episode between me vomiting of Mark just being like, we'll be back on Thursday. Yeah. And then you joined us, and I believe we talked about spooky levels in games.
We did.
Yeah. A super fun time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited about our topic today, which we'll get into in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But first, can you plug Popcorn and Pixels?
Oh, yes.
I'm really enjoying
Thank
your
you.
new podcast.
I'm doing a podcast with the wonderfully talented and brilliant, stunning Vanessa Guerrero. She was a producer over on Attack of the Show while I was a producer at X-Play. And we ended up just like, I would always go over to her desk like every day just to check up on her and say hi. And we would always talk about our love. She's a big, big film nerd who loves games. And I'm a big, big game nerd who loves films. And so we ended up just like talking all the time. And then after sadly, G4 was shuttered, she was like, I miss talking to you about media. Let's do a podcast. Here's the premise. And I was like, oh, this is great. And so every week, we assign each other a different form of media. She assigns me a film that I then have to pair a game with, and then I give her a game that she then has to pair a film with. And so we explore how games and films explore narratives, storytelling in their respective mediums, and like how art kind of filters into that as well and whatnot. It's a little bit more PG-13 than this podcast.
It is.
So
We get a little more R.
Yeah, we do curse. So I'll give that caveat. But yeah, if you really like talking and you like listening to people go on rants and also talk about films and games and what films pair with which games and which games pair with which films, which is always my favorite. Like, she's always surprised by my choices, and I'm always just like astounded by her choices.
Yeah,
it's been so much fun.
Yeah, you're a great combination for this premise, and it's so anytime someone is applying the sort of like literary rigor that you guys are to video game stories, like I think it's special and like unique in the space that like I don't know people that are discussing story in games that way.
Exactly. And like I think that was a big thing because I was like, yeah, let's do a podcast because I feel like there's and good on y'all because y'all do a very, very creative podcast as well. I feel like you throw a rock and you hit 3 different video game news podcasts. I did one with Matt Acevedo and Naeem Stewart back in the day.
That's right.
And so
hit points.
R.I.P. hit points.
R.I.P. hit points.
You burned bright and you burned short. But no, yeah, and so it's just so much fun because that's what I love about games. That's why I fell in love with games, specifically like BioShock was when I was like, oh, games are art. And because of the narrative of that game and because of the journey it took me on. So I'm like, anytime someone's like, can you talk to me about what you like about games? And I'm like,
I can do it.
We can do it for a very long time.
So check out Popcorn and Pixels.
Thank you.
If you would like to support this show, we have a Patreon now.
Oh,
yeah, that's right. So if you would like to support our show, you can go to patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society. If you support us there at the 8-bit or 16-bit tier, you can get access to our show, NCS Detective Club. I forgot the name of it for a second, where we are exploring the great detective TV shows of the past. So you can go and check that out there. We just did an episode on Psych.
Are you going to do Moonlighting?
Ooh, Moonlighting.
No.
What a pull.
So, because I was a big Castle fan,
Sure.
and so when I was watching Castle in college, my mom was like, "We got to check out Moonlighting if you like the kind of romance meets like crime detective show.
No,
And I've never seen Moonlighting before.
It's fun.
I've only seen episodes here and there, but like, yeah, what a great.
So-
and then we can talk about Bruce Willis.
I know.
This
Yeah.
might be.
So we put a limit on 6 episodes of NCIS Detective
Okay.
Club, and so we'll be on episode 5.
Right.
And
right.
so we're running. There's too many great detective shows.
Mhm.
So we may do a second season. But if you are an 8-bit or 16-bit listener, you'll be able to help us decide. You'll be able to vote on what the next miniseries should be.
Yeah.
So, maybe
you
it will
want to
be.
hear Moonlighting.
Yeah.
Well, it's time for me to become a Patreon supporter so I can go vote.
So thank you to our new patrons, Tara Lindsay, David Henley, and Louise Thompson. Thank you so much for supporting us. And we appreciate everyone who is supporting us and everyone who is listening for Freezies. Everyone having a good time with you and doing the show for you. I'm talking in circles right now. We also have a Discord that you can get in and have fun conversations, talking in circles as I just was, about Nintendo, about the show. If you would like an invitation to the Discord, you can email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com, and we will send you an invite, and you get right in there and have a good time. All right. Are we ready for this?
Yes.
Yes, let's do
I'm
it.
so excited.
Let's talk about what we'd like to see come over from the Super Mario Brothers movie to the games. Okay. So, however we felt about the Super Mario Brothers movie, we're gonna leave that like on the side.
Yeah,
Right.
uh-huh.
There's an episode for that.
There's yes, there's a season for that, and I would like that season to be behind us. But so there are obviously a lot of things in the Super Mario Brothers movie that no, I'm not tap dancing around my
No,
opinion.
I
of
know.
it.
It's just a funny way to describe a movie. There's a lot of things in it.
But I'm saying
I
there
want
are
that on the DVD box art.
Yeah.
There's things in this one.
Things by Shigeru Miyamoto. No, there was an end to the sentence.
Oh,
I didn't
of
get to.
course.
There are a lot of things in the movie that are invented for the movie,
Mhm.
right?
Well, also,
Yes.
I would go to say, this movie was made for the theme parks
That feels right.
because the Japanese theme park has the DK Land coming soon with the
Yes.
ride, and they have the Mushroom Kingdom that is, if you look at it, it is structured in a very similar way.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, and
totally.
Sarah asked me
Mhm.
after we were watching. She was like, "Hey, why does Toad have like pots and pans? Like, why is Toad like cooking?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't really know." And she was like, "Because the only time I can think of that was Chef Toad at Super Nintendo World." And it's like, oh yeah, so they're already even like borrowing ideas from the theme park
Yeah.
for the movie.
Everything's connected.
Yeah.
And the
Everything's
Universal got to
Mhm.
make that money.
They do. Well, and it was, one of the times that we saw this movie was at Universal City Walk. And so walking out, seeing people everywhere wearing Mario stuff,
Mhm.
right? Like either they were just coming from the park or just coming from the movie theater that was showing Super Mario Brothers, the Super Mario Brothers movie. It was like, yeah, there's a synergistic thing happening right now between those two. It's
Mhm.
weird that
Yeah.
the games feel like an also ran to that, right?
Yes.
They're not really part of it.
It will be really interesting because I feel like Nintendo has been, they got all their ducks in a row for this Mario movie with the anticipation that it'd be really big. They had the new Mario Switch bundle
Mhm.
and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's we just don't have the data yet to see how much it affected like the video game aspect of it.
Yeah,
but I
that's a good
think the
point.
assumption is they're expecting it to like sell a lot of Switches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that the second they can like put out a game that is like demonstrably connected to or like related to the movie, that's when like everything blows up.
Do you think that is?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, that's what we're going to talk about.
Right.
But I think if I were to guess, I would say either brand new Mario IP or Galaxy 2, or sorry, not Galaxy.
Odyssey
2.
Yeah. I'll take Galaxy 3.
Because I do wonder. I mean, obviously, we're going to be talking about what things from the Mario movie would we like to see incorporated into the
Mhm.
games. And
And we truly mean things as broadly as that, like
Right.
Yes.
whatever that means.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But I guess I personally anticipate that there's going to be this sort of like church and state sort of thing going
I
on.
think so.
Where
yeah.
like the theme park world that I agree with you, Emily, like exists in the movies as well, like will be its own universe, for lack of a better term, and then like the games will kind of continue to do their own thing. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see Mario and his Brooklyn family like in a video game anytime
Well, all right. Yeah, you're looking. It seems like you're looking at my list. No, but like this is a great point, really, because the Super Mario Brothers movie is not the first. First of all, it's not the first Super Mario Brothers movie, but it's not the first Mario adaptation, right? There are cartoons and comics and stuff, and Nintendo almost never borrows back from those things, right?
Yeah.
Like we didn't see a Dennis Hopper King Koopa in the video games ever, right?
But none of them.
I don't think afterwards they were like, we can't.
Yeah.
Well, right, they ran screaming from that.
Well, I mean, but that is the thing. Like, this was really like, Nintendo deeply a co-producer on this movie, deeply involved in the development. So maybe it does affect things going forward. Like, we just don't know at this point.
Yeah.
So now we are going to hypothesize, theorize what could possibly be coming over from the Super Mario Brothers movie into games. So I have prepared 4. I wanted to hit 5. I only got 4.
Same. I only hit 4.
Okay. Mark, it looks like you've got a couple bullet points.
I do. Some of them are like
mine are broad.
And some of mine are just like little like throwaway things. Like they're not really too involved.
Okay. Well, Mark, would you like to go first?
I'm kind of scared, but yes, I will go first.
Okay.
The first thing from the Super Mario Brothers movie that I would like to see incorporated into the games is Kamek's unrequited love for Bowser.
That's pretty good.
Amen.
Amen. That's it. Is he also dressing in peach drag?
I was gonna say, I feel
110%.
like yeah, because I feel like the happiest Kamek is in that movie is when
he's role playing Princess Peach with his boss.
Yes, exactly.
It should go without saying full spoilers for the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
And that is a characterization of Kamek that I would love to see elaborated on.
Yeah, well, because
what's Kamek's motivation otherwise?
What is Kamek's motivation otherwise? It's a great question. Like, just sort of be around, make platforms disappear. Haunt a Yoshi with a baby Mario on its back. Like,
is he being like, what is his compensation? Is it money he's after, or is it love?
Right, exactly. Like, I do totally feel like there's like a Smithers, like Mr. Burns type thing
that's
going on.
Yes.
Like
that's
it. I would just I'd love to see that characterization of Kamek explored a little bit more.
I think that's so funny. Just like knowing what we know about the Super Mario Brothers movie, that there's actually a characterization from that movie that you want to put back in the game.
Yeah,
like that's
and
very
it's Kamek.
funny.
Because they don't really. I feel like when I saw Kamek dressed as Princess Peach in like that moment, I would like that because they don't really like dwell on it a lot in the movie.
No.
But to me, it feels very obvious that Kamek is in love with Bowser.
Right. It's not just a like Bowser rehearsing.
Right.
That scene is unclear.
Yes.
what they're doing there. But that's good. That's a good first thing. Emily, would you like to go next?
Sure. It's gonna be very similar. I want more musical Bowser in my games. I want a singing Bowser. I want a Bowser who has hobbies. I need this. We got such a great characterization of Bowser, arguably the only character with characterization in the entire film, and I want to see that. I feel like we got a smidge of that in Odyssey.
Yeah,
because it was fun.
We get a smidge of his swagger in
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
But I was like, give me this villain. Like, give me a full character arc for my villain.
Yeah,
because Bowser is just so fun in this film.
Right. Well, I mean, and it's all the Jack Blackness of him, right?
And bring Jack, like, I'm not saying have him in the creative process room.
He's a consulting producer from here on out.
Yeah, exactly. Put my next Mario game, I need Jack Black, consulting producer, in my credits.
I love that.
No, I completely agree. Like you said, if they take that sort of like characterization and that swagger of Bowser back into the games. Plus, you mentioned Odyssey and how Bowser was fun in Odyssey, but that game is like surprisingly musical.
Yes.
You know, it has like 2 big musical numbers in it. If you throw in a third Bowser in that, like in his like top hat and tails, you know, like
doing a soft shoe,
perfect an opportunity for like a Bowser musical number.
So this actually plays off of one of my
Oh my gosh,
one of
this
my
is such a
things.
great flow.
So we're gonna meld them together. I actually want this whole concept not just like to be applied to Bowser in the next game or whatever. I want like a Bowser music game.
That's what I kind of was going for that.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
give me a rhythm game with Bowser.
give me a rhythm game with Bowser, and Jack Black has to be back for this. And really, I know I'm just like pitching G-rated Tenacious D, the video game,
Oh my
but
gosh.
like, why not that? Why not that?
That'd be so amazing.
After the Super Mario Brothers movie and like Peaches blowing up, I've sort of gone back to Tenacious D, and like their songs are so good. They're so good and they're so
good
funny.
fun.
Yeah. And like I think you can still do a bunch of that, without the swears and the sexual innuendo and stuff, or not innuendo, just talking about sex. I think you can do it with Jack Black as Bowser, and then just let me play a rhythm game like that.
I love that's my secret. I actually say that on the most recent episode of Popcorn and Pixels.
Yeah.
I talk about a rhythm game, and I love rhythm games. That is like my secret gaming passion that I really don't ever talk about. Big Project Diva lady right here.
Oh.
But and so if you give me a Nintendo music game, and I'm here for it.
Right. Well, and they haven't done. I mean, because the Rhythm Heaven games are like gone.
Right.
They will never do another Donkey Konga.
Rip.
Yeah, hard rip. I love those games. So like, there's a hole in the Nintendo lineup for a rhythm game. May as well be this like Bowser butt rock game.
That's so good. That'd be so much fun.
All right, that means we're back to the top of the order. Mark.
Okay. So I've only seen the Super Mario Brothers movie once, and so maybe there might be pieces of this that I'm missing. But based on my memory of it, what I would like to see, and I guess it wouldn't necessarily be in a Mario game, it could be in a Donkey Kong game. I would like to see an exploration of Donkey Kong's like daddy issues / family tree.
Yes.
They messed it up.
They mess up this family tree
Well,
hard.
Do they? Because so in Donkey Kong Country,
Sure.
Cranky Kong is like the Donkey Kong from the original arcade game.
This is a great point.
And
is
then
that
there's
the Donkey Kong that we're seeing in this movie?
Well,
Does oh gosh, what's it?
Seth Rogen.
I had to do his voice to think of it. Is Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong going to eventually become Cranky Kong?
right, exactly. Like
Yeah.
what are we looking at here?
Yes, I don't. The picture doesn't make sense to me.
There's a couple of possibilities, right?
Yes.
One is like we're saying that the
Oh, you mean
Seth's-
this Cranky is the OG Donkey?
No,
Or am
that-
I-
Right.
This-
No. So basically what I'm saying is that yes, like what you're saying, Emily, is that one possibility is that just like in Donkey Kong Country, this Cranky Kong is the Cranky Kong from Donkey Kong Country. Although
No.
this doesn't make sense for a
This,
lot of reasons.
this Cranky Kong is the Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong.
That's what I'm saying. And then would that mean Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong is the missing Kong generation and is Donkey Kong Jr.?
Yeah, that
and
could be.
not the Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong Country.
Because this is something that we have embraced as canon, Emily, that there is a lost generation between Cranky Kong and Donkey Kong.
Yes.
And that we assume that is the Donkey Kong Jr., who we met in Donkey Kong Jr. and has played tennis like once or twice, and then is otherwise
Was in Super Mario Kart.
Kart, and then is otherwise just missing from
Absent
the franchise.
father.
Yes, and absent son, the absent
Yes.
middle generation.
Yes.
Did not want to be part of the cart.
No.
manga
no.
Tried something new.
And so is Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong Kong Jr.
Right.
Or like you're saying is Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong, because obviously the Donkey Kong Kingdom that we see in this movie is very different from what we see in Donkey Kong Country.
We've never met
So-
Kong royalty before the movie.
No.
Right. So is this like total like is the Cranky Kong in the Super Mario Brothers movie like a great grandfather or something? And
Right.
like you're saying, is Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong the Cranky Kong of Donkey Kong Country?
Yeah, I like that.
And
a
they're
lot.
still missing generations.
Yeah, when does the monarchy fall? When
Yes,
does it
yeah.
become a democracy?
Yeah, well, I mean, I
Exactly.
think it falls or just just chaos.
Yes.
But then you still have like ditties and
Right,
you know,
There's a Dixie in
there's
there.
the Dixie,
Uh,
there's
no
Swanky,
no Lanky Kong though.
no Lanky.
Mm-hmm.
So it's murky. And
Yeah.
I would like
You just wanted that explored.
I would like that explored in some way. Let's even if it's like Zelda timeline-y, let's
we have
figure
three different
yeah, exactly.
timelines.
One where the Super Mario
where
Brothers
K. Rool wins.
exactly, yeah, where they fail to defeat Bowser
Yeah.
in Brooklyn at the end of the movie, But let's clear this up once and for all.
No,
Let's
that's-
figure out the Kong family tree.
That's
Yes.
phenomenal.
Where does Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong fit into all of this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I love that. Do you think there was ever a time that they wanted to call the Cranky Kong character King Kong? Because he is the king of the Kongs.
I think they probably want to go with Cranky first because Cranky is such a recognizable character. But I'm sure, like in the writing room, like in the writing process, they were like, "Oh, we cannot address him by this name, even though we are Universal." Like,
Well, that's the thing, is they are universal. Like, why not use King Kong?
Well, but they don't.
they didn't have enough time in the dialogue to make a joke.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they would have to explain how, because there's that King Kong movie with Jack Black. There's too much crossover there.
Yeah. I think Matthew Broderick's Godzilla. Then it just gets messy.
Right. We don't know what to do with all of that.
Fish. That's a lot of fish. Yeah.
Boy, that movie. Yeah. So do you have like a pitch for how we
yeah,
explore
what is this
this?
type
in the
of
Oh,
games?
interesting.
Like a Super Mario RPG.
Yes.
Or like a Fire Emblem with like time travel elements.
I would love a tactical. Okay, mine was like just general Donkey Kong game. I'm tacking this onto this now. I want a Fire Emblem tactical RPG with the Kong dynasty.
But I feel like it should still have that. That'd be so funny. That'd be so amazing. But it should still have like the pomp and circumstance of a Fire Emblem game where like it's really serious. Serious.
Yes.
And like everything is like beautifully
Oh,
rendered.
mhm.
The Kongs are just gorgeous looking.
And then you can have like permadeath on. Like,
Yeah, that's right. Just sending Tiny,
Yeah, that's right.
to their
I'm
to their
sorry,
demise.
Didi. Yeah.
I had to restart. I couldn't live without Lanky Kong.
A life without Lanky is not worth living. Oh, that would be so good.
Yeah, that's good. And for me, the reason I go to that is because there's that Fire Emblem game called Genealogy of the Holy War. So this could be like Genealogy of the Kong War.
Yes.
Got a little like Planet of the Apes in there as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
I love that.
What is it like? What is the city in Odyssey? Metro City.
New Donk City. Yeah,
New Donk City.
yeah.
Yeah, that's your Planet of the Apes right there. You
Oh
see,
my
like,
God.
it's perfect.
Oh
Yes. The new Donkers get wiped out.
Yes. Donk's in the name.
It's dark. It's dark, but I like it.
Well, shoot, that was basically one of mine. So your turn, Patrick.
Okay, well, I have a Kong related one.
Oh, we are so synced.
I said there are a lot of things in these movies. There are only a couple things.
That's true.
It's 90 minutes long. There is a ape, a gorilla, a Kong that greets them at the doors to Kong City.
Yes, this one.
This blonde ape
Oh yeah, that's right.
he's wearing a blazer and he's like clearly
Like Point Break 80s Kong.
well, so there's a little bit of like Point Break 80s, but there's also because Funky Kong is not in this movie.
No.
And Funky Kong to me reads as like, here's what we think cool was in like the 80s / early 90s. But I think this blonde bouncer Kong has a little bit of like a Entourage cool vibe to him.
Oh.
Like an end of the 90s, beginning of the aughts. Like
that's a lot better.
that he's like douche Kong, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see this guy
Oh.
gradually introduced, and like he can either butt up against Funky, and like they can razz each other for being like cool in the wrong decade,
Mhm.
and they're both cool and not this decade. But like I want this blonde Kong guy to be around.
I need to know him.
I need to know him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I really like this because you know how you just see some people out in the world living their life, and in a very non-judgmental way, you're just like, what is this
What's your
person's
day-to-day?
deal?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
what's
I'm
your
just
story?
so curious, like what your deal is. Like I get that, Patrick. You're seeing this blonde Kong,
Yeah.
and you're like, what is your deal?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
because
are
he's
you?
like a doorman / chauffeur, like you said, like Entourage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he just leaves.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like he's like a bouncer and an Uber driver.
Well,
Because we also don't see. I don't think we see him in that big cart fight.
I don't think we do either.
I don't
I
think
think
we
he
do
sticks.
either.
He stays behind. He's loyal to something in Kong City. He's got to be the last.
That's
he's,
right.
he's the last man.
Well, like
He's got to guard that door.
He's the man on the wall, is what he is.
But he's also, because they show up and they're like, we want to see, like the king.
Mhm.
Right,
And he's like, no.
right.
And then beat. And then he's just like,
Okay.
Well,
okay,
the
come
plot,
on.
Yeah, the plot demands that
Yeah,
this
yeah.
happen.
Then we keep moving.
But
We've got Naha song to get through.
but what is
It
the
shouldn't have been in there.
but let's dive into that motivation.
Yeah.
Why? Because obviously he's saying no because
Mhm.
it's his job. But
Right.
then why say yes?
Well, see, okay, because again, he's a bouncer, but he's also an Uber driver, so he wants that fare.
You're right.
He
Yeah.
wants the
Oh
fare.
man. Oh.
He knows that he has better pickups next to the palace, so he's like, well, we're on the way.
That's a great point.
We're on the way.
Right.
So is this like a?
You're gonna take me close to LAX. We're on the way.
Yes, yes. He knows that he wouldn't have permission to take that jump to the palace
Yeah.
without passengers.
Mhm.
So do you think that this is like and this is just a pitch, it may be totally wrong. Do you think that it's like a, like telltale
Oh my
like
gosh.
narrative
Oh,
game
okay,
that's
yeah.
exploring like, this blonde Kong's kind of like life and inner turmoil?
What was the name of that game from like 2017, 2018 that was like you are a taxi driver in like Neo Seattle, and it's like a narrative, and it's like always rain. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, and it's kind of like vapor wavy.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
I
they
know-
just announced a sequel for it not
Did
that
they?
long ago, right?
I know what you're talking about. I think,
That's what we need. We need that game, but
for this con,
for this guy.
Oh, why can I not think the name of it? But yes, I
Yes.
agree completely.
Yeah. That is the pitch. I think that's great. Because then you can make decisions about like how he's going to make money. Does he make money guarding the door? Does he make money riding
who are
fares
his
around?
interpersonal relationships?
That's right.
I want to see him challenge. I want to see him and Funky go off. I want to see him like. Does he garner more of Cranky's approval than
Right.
than Donkey Kong?
Right.
Yeah, is he like or is Cranky Kong just using him to like needle Donkey Kong and
Yes.
he doesn't actually
Does he
Right.
not have a family? Is he trying to prove
Right.
himself? Where
Yes.
does he belong? Who is
Yes.
he?
Yes.
Yes.
He needs to know.
There's so many.
how did he
unanswered
get this
questions.
blonde hair?
Yeah.
True.
Is it a dye job? Where does he get his? Where
Maybe
does
it's
he get his fur
Maybelline.
dyed?
We don't know.
know.
We need answers, Nintendo.
I do like because one of the things I have written down is just in general, I want to know more, and I feel like we're like one of the most fascinating things about this movie is the Kong Kingdom. What's going on with the Kong Kingdom?
Clearly some kind of automotive empire.
Yes.
Do they? Is the Kong Kingdom? Do they have a monopoly on oil?
Right.
Oh, they might.
Like
Are they like the oil barons of this entire world?
And is that why like Funky Kong can kind of live this? I mean, I guess he has jobs, so I was gonna say like this life of leisure, or
Funky Kong?
or is this what? Let me take a step back. I'm getting too excited.
Yeah. Okay.
Is this why?
Calm down.
Is this why all of the Kongs can kind of have this Roman, Colosseum-esque, like where they have their sport?
They also have a standing army, though.
Yeah, it's true.
And
Like
that's
the
true,
Romans,
like the
I
Romans.
guess, like,
Yeah.
like all you have to volunteer to be part of the army. Like you were
Right,
all the standing
right.
army in the cart Kong army, ready to go at any minute's notice.
Right. Yeah. So like service is probably mandatory.
Mhm.
right.
You're conscripted, yeah.
Yeah. It's a conscripted Kong cart army. Too many K's there. It makes me uncomfortable.
And are the Kongs? And this is just a question. I don't have any data, one point or the other.
Mhm.
But are the Kongs like against alternative energy in
Surely.
because their empire is built on carting?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
no,
are
that
pure
tracks.
petro. Like they are for petroleum.
Yeah.
No clean energy. Like they are constantly striking down clean energy bills.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, what is the
100%.
insurance situation? Because we see in that montage as they're drifting towards the castle, or I guess, we see essentially another cart go into a local market and explode. Surely, is it required to have auto insurance? And like, what is the insurance scene like in the Kong Kingdom?
Yeah.
Right.
Because clearly there needs to be property insurance. There needs to be some kind of
Right.
health insurance. Like, is it?
Well, and
is
it's
it
not good
insurance
or
for everyone?
comprehensive
Yeah.
because
Is it universal?
Swanky Kong is going to get in there and try to sell you a crooked policy with a huge deductible.
I feel like automotive and health insurance is universal. Property insurance is sold.
Yes, that's
it's,
right.
It's private
that's right.
market.
That's right. This is great. We need to know so much more about all of what's
Mhm.
going on in the. Do they call it the Jungle Kingdom?
Yes.
Okay.
Which it reminded me because it looks exactly like that Lego set that they came out with a few years, like 2 years ago. I think Matt
Oh,
Acevedo had
yeah.
it, where it was like the cube and it had the 3 kingdoms in it.
Oh, the one that was like the question block
The question block,
that like
yeah.
unfolded.
Because I was as soon as you see
That's
that map
interesting.
pop up in like Prince
Mhm.
Peach's
Yeah.
table, that was immediately the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh, that reminds me of the Lego set.
That's so interesting.
Oh.
But you're right. Like the design of the Kong Kingdom, like the facade of it, is 100% what they're building in Japan for
Mhm.
their Super Nintendo world, for their like Donkey Kong expansion.
So maybe we will get more answers. We just gotta go to Japan.
Let's do it.
Where are we? Emily, do you have another?
Yeah.
I think
You
Mark,
know what?
Yeah, just
we're
on
gonna
Mark's.
jump kingdoms real quick.
Yeah.
Love me the Mushroom Kingdom. I adore that scene where Toad is leading Mario through, and you get to see all the shops, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's if you did like a drinking game to all the Easter eggs in that scene, you would need to be hospitalized because you'd be too much alcohol in your system because it's just such a fun scene and it's so cute and just like seeing how the toads work and the toad economy and like the toad kind of like what we're saying what's Kong
Yeah.
daily life. So I'm pitching like give me a toad like Stardew Valley, like where it's their agricultural scene, like what's the local town scene,
Yeah. This
who
is
can
right.
what toads can I romance, like how do I set up my toad shop, like where am I, like the antique store that has all the gaming antiques, where did you find these, where are they, why are
Yes.
they antiques, like I need to know more about this toad like kingdom
Yeah, and maybe
in depth.
maybe in that we
Mhm.
also get to explore how there are Nintendo games in the world of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yes.
Like why does Mario have an NES? And why is he playing Kid Icarus?
Oh.
How does that exist without the Mario games? Do the Mario games exist in the Mario movie?
I don't think no. I mean, Jumpman did.
Jumpman
Jumpman did.
I think
Jumpman did.
we live in an alternative universe where Nintendo pivots after Jumpman, and Jumpman is not successful.
Sure.
And they're like, we can't do this.
Sure, that's an antique.
Mhm.
They make all the games now off
Mhm.
of and probably can't be like
Can't
Punch
be
Out either. 'Cause
Punch Out or Duck
is
Hunt.
real.
It's just Kid Icarus and Jumpman. That's the only games they've ever. Probably Zelda too. I think everything else
Sure,
in Nintendo.
everything else. It's
Everything else,
just-
Kirby, Zelda, you're
yes.
good. F-Zero, throw that in there.
It's an alternate universe where F-Zero still exists.
Yes.
No, this is good. I love the idea of exploring that Mushroom Kingdom like cityscape area.
Yeah, like give me a Harvest Moon, but with like
Yeah.
Mushroom Kingdom, where I get to like talk to NPCs. I get
Yes.
to have a farm or have land, or like, am I running a shop? Like, what are my businesses? And what am I fishing? Am I bringing cheaps to the market and then selling those and then using that money to expand my farm? Like, give me a
yes.
live sim as a toad.
It's also kind of cool just to like imagine a farm sim like that, or like a life sim like that is so densely populated, because like that Toad City that's surrounding the castle.
Oh, that's a lot of toads.
It's a lot of toads, and you don't see that kind of dense population in
No.
those farming games.
No.
But like that'd be so cool and so fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like this pitch. I
Thank
like it
you.
a lot. I'll go next. In the beginning of the movie, when Mario and Luigi are heading to their first job, they've just gotten a job.
Mhm.
The van doesn't start. No
Mhm.
sleep till Brooklyn. And they're like, "Oh, we gotta run there. We can take the shortcut through like the construction zone." And it's goes into like a very like proscenium presentation, and we get a side-scrolling approximation of World 1-1 from the original Super Mario Brothers. That's a fun scene. They do a good job of like capturing the kinetic energy of Mario platforming. But there's something that Mario is doing there that Mario doesn't ever get to do in the games, and that's clear a path for Luigi.
Oh.
So this is a gameplay mechanic that I'd like to introduce into a Mario game of like, you play Mario, who is more agile and acrobatic and fast and whatever than Luigi, but both of you have to get to the finish line. So jump over the pits, grab a ladder, knock down some whatever so Luigi can get over there. Like just that sort of, and Luigi can be AI controlled. It's not necessarily a
But it's
a
also
two-player
giving
thing.
me Wii U vibes. Like, what was that?
Totally.
What was that color game on the Wii U that was like super fun?
The
Where
color
like
game.
it was like a color. I think it was called Color Run, So basically, the person who had the Wii U tablet
Yeah.
was like the run master. So you could plan out traps and you could throw things in people's way.
Yeah, cool.
And so like you would win if nobody else got to the finish line, and then everyone else was a
Oh.
different color or a different colored character, and they'd have to run through the level, like hopefully dodging and knowing what traps you were gonna set,
Yeah.
and try and get to the end. So if they got to the end, they would win. And like it
Yeah,
was
so this would be that, but like the
Mhm.
helpful version.
Yes.
Instead of setting traps, you're like diffusing the traps.
100%.
And one of the things that I really liked about the Super Mario Brothers movie is that the relationship between Mario and Luigi is sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can like recreate that in gameplay form,
I would
like,
love that.
I think it'd be nice. I think it'd be fun.
Could they be the baby versions?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think they could.
Yep.
I think they. I mean, tell me why, but
I would say like toddler, because we get them in the movie.
Oh yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
We
yeah,
get, like,
yeah.
kid.
Toddler version.
think
That's what I
toddler.
meant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just so they can have those like adventures on the playground.
And
or
it just
something.
gives you like an opportunity. I guess I'm really into like character motivation and exploration. It really just gives us an opportunity to dive deep into
Yeah, yeah.
another era in Mario and Luigi's relationship.
That we
Yeah.
really don't get to see.
Not very often.
I still think it's unfair that like baby Mario and baby Luigi have to look like cartoon characters, and the other child that picks on them just looks like a human.
Well, that's why they're being picked on.
I mean, you're right, but it bums me out. They're so cute though.
They captured them very, very well.
I thought it was very. I generally don't really like the baby characters that much, but for whatever reason I thought like rendered in the movie they were
Yeah.
really cute.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and baby Peach too.
Baby Peach.
I
So-
don't know if we're gonna touch on
We're gonna get
her.
there.
All right, great, great. Then I will bottle that. We'll get back to it later.
Okay, my next one is it's just a small thing. I liked in the movie that Rainbow Road had like a narrative purpose. Like it was like the Bifrost
I
of
loved
like
that.
the Mushroom Kingdom, for lack of I guess, or the connections between the different kingdoms.
Mhm.
So from like the
Yeah.
Jungle Kingdom, to like the Mushroom Kingdom, like that was the purpose of Rainbow Road. I liked that, and I feel like that would be fun to incorporate into like a Mario game, or even in the next Mario Kart Rainbow Road level, kind
Yeah.
of like explain just like as the setting for that Mario Kart finale.
What I love about that is that it's like sparking the question in my head of like in the games in the
Mhm.
kart games or other times when we see rainbow like courses in like Mario 64. What are those? What is
How did we get
Rainbow
there?
Road? Yeah. What's its purpose? How do we get there? Great
We're in
question.
space.
We're in space somehow. Why are
We're-
there rainbows in space?
And also we can breathe and
Well,
drive
of
cars.
course, yes, and launch ourselves from one rainbow to the next. But yeah, like giving having the equivalent of like the Bifrost just unlocks so much for me. Where I'm like, yes, let's see this thing as like an interdimensional.
the 7 realms
Yes,
of the
exactly.
kingdom.
Yeah, and I like I don't know that if they did it in Mario Kart, that they really need to give like a lot of like narrative exploration around it, but it just seems like that's a cool mechanic. Like that's
Yeah.
a cool idea that's why the Rainbow Road exists.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Is to connect the different kingdoms in that universe.
but yeah, how cool would that be though to be taking in a Mario Kart game to be taking the Rainbow Road like up into space and then like back down into
Like you're passing
kingdom.
kingdoms are like passing
Yeah,
by you or
Right.
something. Yeah.
yeah. That's really cool. I like that a
Mhm.
lot.
Well, PTs did a bit earlier, so I also just like Emily selfishly wants a new Super Princess Peach. I loved Super
Yes.
Princess Peach. I
Yes.
think that game is incredible.
Mhm.
Problematic, maybe, but
Maybe
It
she
gives
fights
her-
with her emotions.
yeah, but it gives her. This is why we're gonna pivot.
Yeah.
But it gives her umbrella, which I thought was really fun because we've seen the umbrella become incorporated
Mhm.
into Smash ever since. I say either redo Super Princess Peach or give us the prequel where it's her training as a young Toad, because we get that really
Yes.
fun shot of her in the Toad outfit
Yeah.
with her in
With
her
the big pants,
And I
yes.
was like, I want parachute pant Peach.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I want to know like
PP
teenage Peach. And so I want to see like that kind of combat game, and where she gets to kind of have her own fun new game that maybe not necessarily relies on emotions 100% of the time. I
Right.
thought those were fun. I would say like, because also too, have we seen the ice flower before or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Ice
a little-
Flowers in the
new
games.
games?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Odyssey, I think, or not Odyssey, Galaxy.
Gotcha. Okay, because I was like ice flower. Wow. I couldn't recall, but no, yeah. I think I had so much fun with those games. I remember going to the Best Buy and being so excited to pick up Super Princess Peach when it came
Yes.
out, because as a lady gamer, I was finally getting to play as the lady character.
Yes.
The thing that everyone gets upset about when the main character is a lady. Welcome to my shoes. I have played dudes all the time, which they're fine. They're well written. But yeah, I just really want to play as Peach. And I thought it was such a really fun story narrative choice to be like, seeing that flashback shot of her like, they raised me as one of their own. What was that like? Give me that adventure game.
Yes. Yeah. And like there's I struggle with the characterization of Peach in the movie because it's like she never expresses any doubt, but like there's something very cool about her being action princess, right? Which is, even when she's a playable character in the Mario games, like that they kind of like shy away from like her abilities.
I feel like we get that from her in Smash. Like that's the one game where like that's why when all these articles, these clickbaity articles were coming out and being like, Peach, I was like, she fights in Smash.
Yes.
She's been in Smash since the Cube.
Right.
Like, what? No.
But it would be cool to see that kind of like attitude applied to her in a platformer.
Yeah, because like I feel like Nintendo, in really tiny baby steps, has been making Peach less of like just a damsel in distress, right? And like,
but also too, I will say, sorry to interrupt.
No.
Daisy also kind of occupies that kind of more tougher attitude,
right.
But again, not really in a platformer or like a mainline game. Yeah,
because I feel like just with the way that the multiplayer game, like Super Mario 3D World, that like Peach appears in, all of the characters kind of have their just like one thing, and Peach's thing is being able to float. Like she gets that extra float. But like you were saying, Emily, giving her like, Princess Peach should have her own franchise, right? And then she can have whatever moveset she needs to have, and she can be that more like action-oriented or whatever it is, like character. Like, I think we're way overdue for Princess Peach to have her own line of games.
Please.
Puffy Pants Peach, though.
Puffy Pants Peach is great. With her fun little vest. She's got like an Aladdin look going on. It was so good.
It's so cool. And it's like a split second in the
I know.
movie.
I was like, wait, no, I want to see that.
Hold on, go back. I'm not ready.
Stop the movie.
Also got to say, the baby Peach, the one tiny scene that we get of her like walking through the pipe, and she's wearing like a cape that's clearly like a bath towel. Like, it's so cute. They did such a nice job with like just the design elements on baby Peach.
Also, she does a weird thing in the film where she's like, "Are you human?" But then clearly has like come from the human world.
Right.
Possibly.
Right. When like, has she seen other humans?
Yeah. How does she know they exist?
How does she have context?
That was one of my
also do you
many script.
Do you look at
questions.
Mario and you're like,
that's a dude.
Oh,
that's a human.
This short man.
Yeah,
this short thing.
You're like a 45-year-old 20-year-old?
Yeah, it's not it's not clear.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, she does ask.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
She says, "Are you human?" She doesn't know. I have one more. I have one more entry here, and then another thing has just sort of popped in my head as we were talking. But inside the giant eel, Mario and Donkey Kong at one point knocked off the Rainbow Road in this great sea, swallowed by our good friend Unagi, the giant eel, right? And we've seen this eel around, right? He's been in a ton of different games. He's in the Mario Kart games, Mario 64, but we've never been inside this guy before.
Nah, very monstro.
Yeah. We've been in Bowser's Inside Story, and I always think that there's a 3D Mario game where we go inside a like sea creature, but I'm just thinking of Banjo-Kazooie when you go inside Clanker, who's like a robot shark. But Mario and Donkey Kong spend some time inside this giant eel. I want to do that. I want to explore the inside of this eel.
As a Kingdom Hearts fan, no, you don't.
I want to know what's inside there.
You don't want to do it. I tell you, it's going to be the worst level design of your life, and it's going to make you want to throw your controller and put it down for 3 years.
Okay, this is true. That's in Kingdom Hearts. Is it a Pinocchio thing?
Yeah. So you go. It's Monstro. Monstro is a whale that's just chilling around the galaxy, swallows you up, and it's oh gosh, it's just like you go through his tummy to try and find Pinocchio before the Ding Dong Heartless too. And you'll go into rooms where it'll be like, well, here's a hole up here, and there's a doorway down here, and there's a doorway over here. You got to figure out which door to go through, and then that will end you over here, but that's not where you need to go. And so you're just like, it's literally just like that map, kind of like try until you find it kind of gameplay.
Yeah, sure.
Or unless you like design it, you're like you really just handwrite it out, but like just nightmares.
I thought,
yes,
and again, I have a one-track mind. I thought you were going towards, what is motivating this eel? What is this? What is this eel's life?
I don't care. I just want to drive around in its guts.
It's got a lot of good stuff in its guts.
I think it does.
Yeah.
It's
you don't want to know why that eel was eating all that other stuff.
I don't want to. It's an eel. What do you mean?
Do eels eat other stuff? That doesn't seem likely to me.
This one did. There's a chapter in Star Tropics where you're swallowed by a whale, and it is one of the worst chapters.
Well, also,
in Star
I mean,
Tropics.
do other people like? I feel like the Jabu Jabu level from Ocarina of Time is also like
another take on this.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe it has been explored other places, but
like,
not
in Mario,
and not Mario, this eel,
and not this eel. Because like, okay, Jabu Jabu's belly, he's like a fish. He's like fish shaped. An eel, that bad boy's long.
I think you can do some platforming in his body.
I think you can definitely do some platforming in his body. I think you can do some drag racing in his body.
Yeah, there might be different biomes.
You know, different biomes. That's right.
Uh-huh.
You got to. I was about.
But
to
I
say,
want to know why the biomes are there.
This is ridiculous. He's not a knowable character.
Everyone else needs character growth, not the eel. Lumina needs character growth, not the eel.
Yes. The other. Oh, are there others?
I have no more.
Yeah, I don't have any.
We're spent at this point. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad.
Yeah.
I think we could incorporate that into the games.
Go on.
I find it too listenable. Like, it's too good.
Yeah, so that's and that because I bump up against this as well because like that feels right, but also like we can secretly hate that too, right? And want to have like a Toad that we could listen to for like more than a second and a half at a time.
Would love that.
I think it would be great if there was like they introduced a new like wisdom Toad. Like, you know how there's
yes.
You know how there's like
it's like the Grandpa Toad.
Right, yeah. Who we haven't seen for a really long time, right?
Yeah.
And
I remember him and my beautiful good friend Sunshine.
Yes, we're talking Toadsworth here.
Yeah,
Toadsworth.
Right. Toadsworth is missing. But you know in
sequel to Mario is missing.
In Kirby in the Forgotten Land, there's like the Waddle Dee with like a little graduation cap.
Yes.
That is like distilling knowledge. Like I feel like Keegan-Michael Key would be perfect for like a Toad that
like
is
a
very
jack
like
of all
wise.
toads.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, here we go. So we just need to introduce this Toad to the video games.
Yes.
We can keep having like a separate Captain Toad, a separate like Toad Brigade, a separate like whatever the main Toad is, like the blue one, right? Is he the main one in like the Mario games? Am I asking questions man is not meant to ask?
Wait, what? The blue?
No.
I've never considered the blue one to be the main one.
The one from like Super Mario Brothers 2, the playable one.
Yes.
He's blue, right?
Is he?
Is he?
Is he not blue?
I'm looking it up.
I assumed he was like red and white, just like Toad.
I think he's Emily's on the case.
Yeah.
I think he's blue, but maybe he's red and white. Like
or maybe
classic Toad
I
style.
think he's red and white. I think he's wearing like an Aladdin like vest, which may be blue.
You're right. He's blue.
He's blue.
What?
He is straight up blue.
He's
and
straight
blue.
up
Oh my
blue.
gosh, you're right.
Where is this Toad? Patrick,
Yes.
no, that's your new mystery series.
Well, I think he's probably the same blue Toad that appears in the new Super Mario Brothers games on Wii and Wii U, right?
Okay.
Because there are Switch. Because there's a blue Toad and a yellow Toad. Although the yellow Toad has been kicked to the curb in favor of Nabbit and Toadette now, right?
Yeah.
In the new ones.
Uh-huh.
My point is, we can make one of these Toads Keegan-Michael Key, right?
Yes.
I think I'm on board with making blue Toad because that's like original Adventure Toad.
Right.
Yes.
Original Adventure Toad. Make that Toad Keegan-Michael Key.
Oh my gosh, where has original Adventure Toad gone?
I think he's been shuffled off to the side. Maybe Super Mario Brothers 2 was too much for him.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe he and Donkey Kong Jr. are off having their own adventures.
He also left the family business.
Yes.
Oh no, they eloped. They eloped
Oh,
and left.
they're in
The,
love.
the Mushroom Kingdom would not accept their love.
Kong's pretty progressive. Mushroom Kingdom, no.
Could not. Where was Toadette in this movie, by the way?
Good question.
Yeah.
I mean, that bugs me.
Well, you gotta leave something for the sequel, right?
Oh, there's
Yes.
I mean, I'm loving the fan castings that are populating my Twitter. It's fantastic. I'm for every single combination that is being pitched.
Yes. Have you seen a Toadette casting? That
No Toadette castings because everyone's doing Daisy first.
Oh, okay.
Everyone wants to go
All
with
right.
Daisy, which I think is fun because, like, okay, Mario kind of has his love interest. We got it. It's a sequel. We got to give a love interest to Luigi.
Can I tell you, I'm a little bit nervous that they're gonna skip over Daisy and bring in Rosalina.
first.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I mean that's right because we have the Luma in the. You're right, and then we also
Right.
have we have the callback to Galaxy in the credits. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, and there's when saying like
Oh, yeah, there's a
maybe
bunch
you're
of
from your
galaxies
world.
out
Yeah,
there,
there's a bunch
yeah.
of galaxies out
Oh
there.
shoot, which is like fine, but like I love Daisy Luigi. That's like I like that ship more than Peach Mario because
Yeah.
it's just fun. It's just
Mhm.
she's kind of like bosses him around. And he's like, I
Yeah.
like it.
Totally.
Yeah, the Luigi dynamic.
Yes.
But to that end, give me that Professor Egad. Like, I want that relationship happening there. I mean, relationship. I don't think there's
They
anything
gave us
sexual
such a
between
tease
them,
in
but-
this movie by having him walk around all scared in the spooky.
Oh, I
was
know.
like, when I first watched this film, I was like, oh my gosh, are we about to find like Bowser's mansion?
Yeah.
No, they didn't do it.
That would have been so
I was
fun
so
if he had got like
ready.
a poltergeist or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or give him a little, because he kind of very damsel. Like I would say, him and Peach switched roles. Like
100%.
Luigi's the damsel
absolutely.
in distress in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Love it.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's a good use of the character
Mhm.
and then like makes their connection their like brother relationship the not romance
Yeah.
of the movie.
Mhm.
But I would like to see him do more in the next film. So
Yeah,
yeah,
me
give
too.
him that EGAD, give him like a little tool. Maybe he's like, I want to go bust some ghosts.
He's got to
Yeah.
bust some ghosts. I am fascinated by the fact that none of us touched on Francis the dog from the beginning of the movie. This is the dog-
the plumbing thing gone wrong.
Yeah, the dog that
Secret Life
terrorizes-
of
Yeah,
Pets.
the cameo
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Secret
yeah.
Life
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
Pets.
that's right. He's not actually a character from Secret Life of
No,
Pets.
but
is
it's
he? He
like
just
it's
looks-
Illumination Dog.
Right. Illumination dog, little eyes, too close together.
Mhm.
Yeah, but like that, no one is like, oh yeah, Francis for Smash or anything.
I didn't like Francis.
I didn't like Francis either. I would
Yeah.
say tagging on to that, let me see Mario do more plumbing in my games.
Yeah,
Oh, sure.
I want to see him
yeah.
fix a sink.
yeah.
Think of a puzzle game that's like
Yes.
Mario plumbing.
Oh my gosh, give me
Ooh.
the BioShock unlock
Yes.
puzzle.
Yes.
But give it to me
Uh-huh.
with Mario.
Yeah.
Fixing some pipes.
Yes.
And maybe the like countdown, like the reason you have to hurry is because Francis.
'cause Francis
for
is
the
there.
Francis
Yeah.
fans out there, you know.
Yeah, if the timer is just that Francis is locked in the shower and the
Mhm.
water level is rising,
Uh-huh.
so that's what you have to fix. This is perfect.
That's a good game.
All right, so we found a use for Francis.
Yes.
Whew.
I know, mission accomplished.
All right, those were like 100 good ideas. Let's close this out. Emily,
Mhm.
thank you so much for joining
Yes,
us.
Thank you
for
for
thank
this.
having me. This
so
was
much.
so much fun.
An absolute blast. Is there anything you would like to plug on your way out here?
Yeah, you plugged it earlier, but yeah, please check out Popcorn and Pixels. It's a really fun podcast. We're on all your favorite podcast platforms. We don't have any socials for the podcast right now because we're both very, very busy.
But
to
follow
open up-
Emily.
But yeah, follow me. You can follow me on Twitter. Thank you for that. Thank you for teeing up that plug at frankly_Emily on Twitter. I do a bunch of stuff all here, like all around, and that's where I'm usually posting about what I'm doing. And then you can follow me on Instagram with frankly_Emily with an extra little underscore after Emily. And then if you like Mass Effect and if you like tabletop RPGs, I do a wonderful podcast with the lovely Matt Acevedo, who's been on here recently. We've been doing this Mass Effect campaign for 5 years now. So we're on our 3rd season. If you like tabletop RPG live plays, if you like space, even if you're not familiar with Mass Effect, if you like space adventures, and like a ragtag group of goobers flying around the galaxy and making mistakes and having fun and trying not to die, you check out Mass Effect Adventum, please.
Awesome. Great podcast. Check them both out. And that's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Thank you so much to Connor McCabe, our 16-bit patron. We appreciate you, Connor. Join the Discord. Email us for an invitation. We will let you in. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com. or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying, thanks for listening.